Because you need to understand this, that we don't have white parties and black parties and all that nonsense that venters tell you. We actually have two types of parties in South Africa. You have the venters, and unfortunately, most black people think crying and whining and insulting and complaining and being victims is politics. No one's ever cried and we ended up with a new airport. No one's ever spoken about apartheid and then the economy grew. Nobody ever said white people are devils for life, all of them, and then got a job the next day. No, we have venters and builders. And unfortunately, in South Africa, and I'm sad to say for most of Africa, people think venting, in other words, just releasing your emotions, is politics. But no, real politics are when you build something. When you're able to say 40% of our people had no jobs, now only 20% have no jobs. We on our way to 10%. Building is when you say we only had one stock exchange, now we have 3 stock exchanges. We have the Cape Town Stock Exchange, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, and the Durban Stock Exchange. That's what building is about. So we have 2 types of parties in the country, not white and black. We have venters and builders. Venters are the ones, when they say justice, they mean jealousy. When they say equality, they mean collapse. Builders build value through economic growth. Venters just victimize themselves constantly. Builders unleash potential, not entitlement. They don't celebrate putting 1 million people on grants. They celebrate putting 1 million people on jobs. Venters envy success instead of learning from it. Builders insist on values over race. Venters don't know that there are different types of black people with different interests. When venters listen to me, who is number 1, a pastor, number 2, a pastor, so a Christian, let's say, number 2, an entrepreneur, number 3, black, they don't know how to deal with me. You are just a sellout. Why? Because if I say anything that's in the interest of entrepreneurs, what's going on? If I say anything that's in the interest of God's values, what's going on? If they see 5 white people comment on my page, say, well done, they go, what's going on? They don't know that builders insist on values over race, while venters, their end is they narrate oppression to stay relevant. They've got to cry, otherwise no one listens. If President Ramaphosa, Fikile Mbalula didn't mention apartheid for 2 months, the ANC would drop down to 0. Because they have to narrate oppression to stay relevant. Builders want a limited government that protects people's freedoms. Venters, they tear down what other people's build. If they don't tear it down, at least they rename it. They rename everything they didn't build, and in 30 years they don't build anything so that we can name it after the person who built it. Builders, the D's, they defend the rule of law. Venters, the E, they expand government endlessly. President Mandela, his cabinet was 16 million rands. The next president was Mbeki. President Mbeki, he went up to 325 million rands, just cabinet budget. The next president went to 600. By Msholozi, it went up to 1 billion rands a year. Continually expand government endlessly. And the salaries of government went up 3 times in that time, while the economy went down. Builders, they enable citizens through opportunity. Builders believe in their citizens. They actually believe that their citizens, if they had an opportunity, they could do something great. Venters don't believe in their citizens. They believe that apartheid has made their citizens disabled for life. Therefore, they must rely on them. Venters want to redistribute wealth they didn't create, but also they want to fight over crumbs and never understand builders when builders say, but let's build the bakery. Venters, they sink, that's the S, they sink the country under slogans, under spending, under sabotage. Builders, they reward merit, not mediocrity. Venters have no problem living in rubbish. Low standards of everything, being led by low-level leaders who can't speak, who can't read, who can't finish a sentence, who've never said anything that moved anybody. They don't mind low standards of leadership. Builders want to see merit, people who speak well, do their job well, deliver well. Venters want a gravy train. Builders want a lean, mean, citizen-serving state that clears the path for real work and real progress. Venters just want power. They don't care about actually delivering anything. So yes, I do like all the builders. And any of them who seem like builders and then they turn up to be venters, highly disappointing. So yes, that's why I liked Action SA before they started making me not sure if they are a venter or a builder. I liked the PA until when I wasn't sure if they're crossing the line to be a venter and not a builder. So that's why I stay in hope for them. Those are the two types of parties in South Africa. There we go. I've answered who I side with. Let me show you